I want to thank everybody for coming. My name is Lee Goldstein. We are the newstraders.com, the makers of JOBB software, the one click range trade. Stephen Nichols helped us design the one click range trade, and he is an expert programmer. And there is a feature in NinjaTrader called the Strategy Analyzer. That Strategy Analyzer allows you to backtest trades, to set up testing of indicators. Evans, I believe it allows you to do exactly what you're asking. You don't need a statistician. You just need the ability to do what Stephen is going to show us now. So I want to thank Stephen Nichols for being here, and I'm introducing you right now, Stephen. Thanks so much for coming.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, this is what this morning looked like, both at the 210 click and also the minute. I had the NQ open on both of them, and that's what we're going to write this morning. We're going to write this open that we've been working with. So these both got 210. Let me see if I go look and see what this did. It says the 210 click got 222. Okay, this morning took two trades, got 222. That's what the 210 click, and this right here, this 1 minute, this morning got 206. Okay, only had one trade for 206, and I'll show you why. Because I stopped it after I get $180. I'm done. So as far as the open is concerned, so that's why it's both of them stopped just like that. So now how we do this, you guys are going to be interested in this, because this was all automated. I didn't have to do anything here. I turned on the strategy, and that was it. That's all I did. So how we do this, though, in NinjaTrader has the ability to actually, you have the ability to go out and you come up here, you go File, you go New, File New on your control panel, and you just come down here and say, give me a strategy analyzer. Boom. And this frame actually comes up just like that. I'm going to expand it a little bit so you can see it. I don't know if there's any questions here, or I don't know.
Do you see the question, Stephen? Or if you don't, I can happily interrupt and ask you questions that people ask.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, you look at those then.
Okay,
Okay,
I'll do
good.
that. You don't have to pay attention.
All right. Well, this is what you get when you get a strategy analyzer right here. I'm just going to close this off and bring it in again. You go over to your control center, you do a file, you do a new. If you haven't, you come down here and say, give me a strategy analyzer. And and then it comes up just like this. I'm going to expand it. What this is this is the list of all the different instruments that I follow right here, that I can follow, but normally I just do the NQ here. But once I create an analyzer, I can put the analyzer against all these instruments all at once, and tell the analyzer, show me how each one of these instruments did with this strategy that we just created. All right, now to create a new strategy, you come down to strategies here, and you just open it up a little bit. Now I've got strategies in here, but I want to create a new strategy. So I come over here and say strategy. Give me it's a right button mouse click on strategies. Give me a new one. I'm asking for a new strategy. We're going to create a brand new strategy. Nothing's here, and you just go next, next, next. That's all you do. So once this comes up, you go next. It's going to want a name, and I'm going to call it webinar. NQ open. Actually, it doesn't have to be NQ. It could be anything, but I'm just going to call it that. And then over here, you can describe whatever you want to describe here. I'm going to say, actually, I could go on and on and on, but let's see, breaking through SR, dynamic SR, DY, all right, can't spell, DY, dynamic SR, breaking through dynamic SR, buy, sell. I would just leave it at that. All right. Now you go to next, and you get this blank, kind of a blank page. It says that you want to define some inputs. You automatically get an input called my input 0, and for some reason it defaults to 1, and the minimum is 1. I'm going to leave that just like that because I'm going to use this as a switch. I could make it both 0 and just use the logic in that manner, but I know that my input 0, I could change my input 0 is going to be a 1. All right. Now I also want to put in here the word profit. So you start out, the first letter must be capitalized. All right. PROF, profit, and it's an integer amount. I can put a default in here. Since we're going to do this particular open, I'm going to put a default in here for 42 because that's the profit we want to start out with. That way I don't have to enter it every time. But these are just variables that you can enter just before your strategy takes off. And then I'm going to put in a stop, S-T-O-P, and I'm going to default that to 28 also, just exactly what our open is. Here again, if I don't put these in, then I have to fill them in before I start the strategy. Now, in our case, we want to do something a little extra. I want to put in a daily total because when I make it to a daily total, I want to stop the process. I don't want to go any further. So daily total. Yeah, all right. Daily total. Let's learn how to spell again or type or something. Daily total. Now this is a dollar amount. So I'm going to make that a double. All right. And I want a daily total. I'm going to put in 180. Now anything with a decimal is going to be a double. All right. Integers are whole numbers, both plus and minus. Anything, now this will also work. I could have called this an integer, but when it comes to money, I always use double. And then I'm also going to put in a daily loss. D-A-I, daily L-O-S-S. I'm going to make that a double. And I'm going to change that also to 180. So I'm looking for a daily loss or daily to make it there. Well, actually, this is going to be a minus. That's important. That's important. There you go. This is how you learn these things when you put these in. Put them in right. All right, a minus 180. So I'm going to have a minimum of a minus, I'm going to say 500, depending on what else I might be doing. So I might use this for other instruments. So I've got a minimum of 500. My daily loss is looking at 180. I don't think I have another. Well, yes, I did. I had, with hers, I had another parm. All right, I had the SR parm. SR parm because anything you put in here is a variable, and you can change it during for the execution of the program. All right, so I'm going to put in an SR parm because I use 9, 14, and 21 when you want to analyze something. So I'm going to put an SR parm in here, and I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. What am I going to make it? I'm going to make it a 14. We'll go with 14 today. All right. So these are my variables right here. These are my variables: profit, stop, daily total, daily loss, and SR parm. Now I'm going to go next. All right. Now right here is where you set up your conditions and actions. Remember these conditions. All these conditions have to be true to do these actions down here. Now, one of the things I want to do, I know we want to go long. If we break that dynamic SR, and we also have some time in here. We want to do some times 930, 931, I believe we want to start out. So knowing that we want to do the time, let's add the time right in here that we want this to execute. I'm going to add here. Now, what you have is you've got a left side, and then you have a sign between the two. Left side equal to right side, or something here is greater than or less than something here. Or if here, for example, it's either equal, greater than, less than, cross above, cross below, especially with indicators. for example, your close crosses above or below an indicator, you want to know it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in time. First things I'm going to put in here is I'm going to say, let's go to time, and I have a time series, and I want the time to be greater than, and then over here we actually put in the time value. I want it to be greater than, well, it's 10:13 right now, but I think we want 9:31 on this particular program, the open that we're creating here. We want time to be greater than 9:31 before we actually get into it. So this strategy won't take off until 9:31. And I believe we only want the strategy. So I just say, okay, and this is what you get right here. This is one condition. Time must be greater than 9:31. And then I can put a stop time in here also. I can say again, time series must be less than, and then I come over here and I can put a stop time in here. So what I'm saying is the strategy only operates between this hour and this hour. In this case, I'm going to say 9, okay. Now I believe we were doing 9:36. We can do 36, 37. We can put any time in here we want. I'm going to go 9:42. All right, so I'm going to run this strategy. I want to make sure I get my money between 9:31 and 9:42. Because once the money hits, the strategy's done. Once I could put in here, I could put 3:13. I could put 3:30 in the afternoon instead. But I'll go with 9:42. Actually, all my strategies actually run all day. So, but this strategy is just an open strategy. So there it is. So this strategy is going to run between 9:31 and 9:42. All right. Now, what is the other conditions that we want to do? Well, we want to cross over. We want the close to cross above or get out of the zone that we created. So we want to add. Let's see. I'm going to add the close must cross above. Let's say cross above, or the close actually could be greater than. I can use a cross above or a greater than. The thing is, the greater than, I'll show you the difference anyway. I'm going to use the close must cross above the dynamic SR color band. All right, so you just pull that color band down. Notice this is already set for 21, the SR color band. But if you remember that variable I put in, we can replace that with the user-defined variable. That variable I put in was an SR parm. So I'm going to replace that 21 with an SR parm. All right. You have several variances. Now, this is crossing resistance. We either have resistance, support, or average. Now, in this case, the resistance is the upper end. So I want it to cross resistance. So I'm going to leave that. Just leave resistance. Now, I know the turquoise doesn't work in here, so I have to change that to silver. I come down here and just change that to silver right there. That works. It's just something with this. Doesn't like the color. This has nothing to do with it, actually, but I had to change that to get it to work. So I've now picked out the SR parm. So when the close over here, this is the price bar. When the price bar crosses above the SR parm, the resistance end, okay, that's good. That's what I want. That means so far I'm between this time. I've crossed through the bar, and I got to make sure now, and this is probably a little bit more complex, but I got to make sure that I'm not over my daily total, because I want it to stop at daily total. So what I do here, actually, here, let's just go back. This is actually enough to do my job right here. This is all I need. I can go long right here because I'm between these times and I've crossed through the band. But I want to make sure that I'm underneath my daily total. So I'm going to go, now here's, let's see, miscellaneous. All right. No, miscellaneous. That's not what I want here. What we got here? Strategy, excuse me, strategy. I've got realized profit and loss is what this is. This realized profit and loss, I just click on it, must be less than, for this strategy to keep going, this must be less than my daily total. User defined, all right, must be less than my daily total. All right, so that means it's still going. So if I haven't made my $200 yet, or whatever my daily total is going to be, this continues. Now here again, I want to make sure that we aren't trying to execute this thing if I have to be greater than my daily loss also. So I also want to add the same thing again. I want this realized profit and loss must be greater than my daily loss. All right, my daily loss is a minus 180, so I have to be greater than for this thing to keep going. All right, and that's all I need right there. Right there, for these conditions to happen, it's got to be between 931 and 942, and I have to cross through that upper zone, and I've still got to be less than my $200, and I got to be greater than my minus $200 or 180, I believe I put in. Now, if all these conditions are true, what do I want to do? I want to go long. So come down here and add order management. I want to enter a long position, and that boom. So this will automatically go long at this point. And this is actually this is enough to actually go in and run the program. It's not going to run the way we want it yet, but this will run the program right here. If I went to, now I've only taken care of the long here though. Now one other thing I want to do, because I know I've got something else that's in the system. Well, all right, I'll just leave it at this point. Let's leave this at this point. I'm going to go, well, if I go next, it's going over here to stop loss. I'm going to add the profit target here. The profit target is not a percent, it's actually in ticks. What I'm going to put in is actually in ticks, and the name of the field is called profit. So there's my profit target. And then we also had a stop here. Now we have a trailing stop, but in this case, this was actually a stop loss. Again, not a percent. It was in ticks, and the stop, we called it stop. All right, okay. So this program is actually ready to go on the longs. All right, we've got this thing. Actually, I could run this right now on the longs. I can go, for example, if I wanted to, well, all right, let's go back. Let's do the shorts also, though. Let's go back here. Notice you've got several sets here. You got several condition sets that you can hear. This is a condition set for the long. All right, I'm going to create a condition set for the short as well. And it's actually going to be, these two are going to be in there the same. This is going to be in there the same. All right, for the short, it's just that the dynamic, this one's going to change. So an easy way to do this is just, did a right button mouse clap. I'm going to say copy. Then I'm going to come over to set 2, and I'm going to say paste. So there's all my instructions moved over to set 2, and where I'm doing the short. It's just that one of these, this instruction here has to be changed because this actually refers to the long. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to change this to this. Here again, it was the close, not cross above, but it's going to be a cross below, and it's going to not be resistance. It's going to be support. When you look at those two zones, one of them is a support zone and one of them is a resistance zone. I'm now going to cross below support, and once I do that, then I can go short. Boom. Just like that. So I can go next. All right, and these we just put in there. I can go next and I can compile this program. You get to this point, you just say finish, boom. All right. It's going to ding on me and say, if I've done everything right, it'll compile. And now I have a new strategy called, what is it called here? I'm going to go over here, right button, mouse click on NQ. I'm going to say backtest. It's going to come over here. It's not, we have a strategy. It's not called NQ open. It's called
Webinar
NQ open right here. Webinar NQ open. Now these are the parameters that I put in as defaults. These right here. So I don't have to put these in again and again and again because they're already here. I can change any of these to whatever I want. I could change those, you know, if I wanted 14, I can go 21 here or whatever. I can go 14, I can go 21. There, let's do 21. That's the SR parm. There's the stop. There's the profit, 42. This is set for minutes right now, this strategy. I can go back and I can test this strategy. I don't want to start with January 1st. I want to come forward to today. All right, August 7th. All right. Actually, today's under here is considered the 6th. So the 6th to the 6th will include the 7th. All right. It's just something that this does. All right. And like I say, run back test. And I got nothing. All right. Let's go back. Let's why do we have nothing? Let's go to the 6th. Let's make this the 7th. And we still got nothing. All right. What are we forgetting here? I'm going to go to the 5th here and see what. Got a minus 288. Whatever happened there. This actually is from the 6th. If we could look at that chart. All right. This is 1 minute. Now something's not happening something's wrong with our program here at this point because I don't even see anything here. What is this back here? Let's go see what. All right. Actually, strategy webinar NQ open is there. Run this test, and you got that. And that's from the 5th. Let's take a look at the trades. Trades happened at 9:33. All right, 9:36. All right, so let's go look at the chart for 9:33 and 9:36. All right, actually they should be here. I'm not sure why they're not showing up. Let's look at this. There's 9:33. And that should not have been a loss by any. All right. That said that we had a loss. Let's look. We lost 10% on that trade. Why? We went, what did we do? We went short. This is the action. Back test. Short. We did a short and a long. There's a short and a long. We went short. Why did we ever go short though? That's I don't believe that was a short at 9:33. There's 9:33. There is no short there. All right. Well, let's go take a look at it. Let's go back here to webinar. It's evidently.
Stephen, I don't know if this will help you at all. When you were showing it to me, you were also plotting your indicator on the chart and stuff.
Yes, true.
Maybe that'll help because it might help you debug a little bit.
Right. Let's go back and let's do this. When we pull an indicator down here at the bottom, do we want to plot it on the chart? Yes, we do. True. We want to plot that indicator on the chart. All right. So we plot that indicator. For some reason, this went short. So let's go over here and see. Let's plot that indicator on the chart also. All right, so let's go next. Next, this is automatically recompiling. All right, and now let's run it again. I'm going to backtest against there. Everything here, daily loss, everything here looks good. I got a minute. All right, and now there it is. Oh, this might this down here might have caused a short. No, that couldn't have caused a short because I got to be 931. Yeah, I'm just going to run this. Let's go look at the ticks here and see what happened. 931. It's all right. This is 931. 931 up here. See, we have no short down here. All we got is a long. All right, so we're going to debug a program. Webinar NQ open. Webinar NQ open. Okay, so let's go look and see. Enter long. Enter short. Okay, enter long. All right, the 2 time from 931. All right, this says cross above. Then performance of all trades. All right, what do we got here? I got. All right, let me. I got the close. I'm going to say greater than. All right, I'm going to switch that to greater than, and see if that doesn't solve our problem. Rather than a cross through there. All right, let's execute this now. Let's backtest this again. Run it. Huh. What's my summary? Now I've lost even more. All right, something's wrong with the parameters. We've got something backwards here because we shouldn't be losing any money. But then again, here, but I should see some lines here when we got in, because the trade here still says we got in at 931.12. All right, and that's we went short. So the problem seems to be in the short end. Let's look here at the short and see if I got something wrong over here. All right, here's the short end. Over here is what's caused the short. So the time's got to be greater than 931, less than 942. And if we cross below, well, here, this is if the close is less than the parm, support parm. Okay. Let's see. We'll compile this. All right, and then I'm going to backtest it. All right. And we're still, this is a strange one here. I would have to go back and see what's gone wrong here. All this is as it should be. All right. That's okay.
People are asking some things just to help about time, whether the date is right, mixing ticks with minutes. And I know your last one worked when we did it together.
Well, this worked this morning. I've got the same program here, and it worked this morning. So I'm wondering, this is the minutes. This says we went short, then we went long. But when you look at this, there's no close in here. There's no close in here short. Mm-hmm. So this never should have gone short. I mean, here's the same. This is the NQ open that I actually did, and there's the close greater than the resistance. Performance daily total 931. I got 1531, but the time should have nothing to do with it. All right, and then the daily loss. Performance has to be greater than the daily loss. I enter long. If I execute this, this is the very same program.
Someone said you're looking at today's chart, and you should be looking at yesterday's open. Because the losses are from the 6th.
But webinar. Yeah, but see, this should actually show me. See what when I look at this right here, this is the actual strategy right here.
Right.
This is the same strategy, NQ open, that runs, and then this is actually what got created out of the NQ strategy, and that's actually what I should be looking at over here on the strategy analyzer. What doesn't make a lot of sense is there's no lines here saying we got in, got out, where we got in, or where we got out, and that I've never seen. That's not right. Something's not right. This is a strategy analyzer.
So can we, I have maybe a suggestion. I don't know if it's going to help or not.
Go ahead.
I mean, just,
Yeah.
knowing my experiences with Ninja, when I have a problem that doesn't make sense, maybe we should just start over from scratch, but reboot your platform. And if that doesn't solve it, then we could maybe look at you could go through the strategy that we know is working and explain how you set that up, and then we'll take it from there.
Well, here, yeah, let's. I'm going to get close this off, and then I'm going to I'll close this off, and then bring Ninja back in, because that I've never run into it where the strategy doesn't show you what you've done.
Right.
Let's just bring it right back in again, Ninja Trader. That doesn't make any sense at all, what that was, what was happening there. So let's.
The horror of being live, Steve.
No, that's never happened. I always see where the trades are. I mean I've been in and out of the strategy several times this morning.
Yesterday, okay. Brandon, I tested the 1 minute method. It wouldn't have traded yesterday. Not the 1 minute. It never closed.
So let's do a new strategy analyzer.
I know.
All right. Bring it out here. And I'm going to run NQ Backtest.
David, I understand what you're saying. It's something to do about Ninja. And we did the same thing when it worked last week. It's something about the way they show their dates.
Here's the one that we just created. May, June, August. Actually, I should only have to do that right there. There. Let's go look at it. Chart. There it is. Worked. Jeez.
So maybe something was just corrupted with the strategy being open for too long.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. Because I've never seen a strategy.
I know you know what you're doing, so.
But so I had to restart Ninja. But this is exactly what we got. And if we look at the trades here, it was one trade. Here, let's change percent to currency. It was one trade for $206. That was the 42 profit here. That's exactly what happened. This is actually what we should have seen before. Yeah, watch out for that, I guess.
Yeah.
I
mean, it happens all the time, Stephen. I mean, in all honesty, sometimes software will just stop working because the platform needs to be updated. Just needs to be rebooted. So I'm not surprised at all. It's just a quirk of Ninja.
A new one to me.
Yeah. Let me ask you a couple of things. Why don't you show the results like you're doing now, and then I wanted to ask you a couple of things in the way that you set it up.
Okay. Well, now at the same time, once we have this, we can go back to, say, the third. We could run this against the third, and all right, now it's over here. What's the summary say? Summary says we lost money in the third. Okay. So if we went back and looked at the chart on the third at 9 o'clock or 9:30 or whatever it is, where's the third? Back here. Let me look. Where did we go? 9 o'clock, 9:30. No, that's all right. That's not the third. What do we got? I went back to the third, but this is once you create a strategy, you can go back and you can test this day, test next day. What is that? We made 268 on that on the second, all right, with the strategy. And if we went back to the first with the same strategy, we made $206 with that. All right, and if we can keep going back. We went back to the 31st, $206 with the strategy on that. I mean, if we wanted to look at it, we could go back and then go way back here and then come forward to the 9. All right, because we went back to take a look. All right, 9:30 there. Okay, this is what happened on whatever date we're on here. Okay, same idea, you know. That date was that was the 31st. All right, and if we went back to the 30th, we can go back there and what's the summary? 206 on that day as well. So that's what the strategy does for us. What we would want to do then is find out, well, that day that we missed, all right, what happened that day? All right, so we would go back and we'd look at the chart on that day, and then we would probably analyze it and see, is there something that should we have not been in there, you know, whatever the case may be. Get to 9:30, let's take a look. Okay, now this is the day. Okay, look at that, we went short. We came out, we broke out, we went short, and the thing went and reversed on us. So that's what happened that day. Same thing, it happened twice right there. It reversed both times after we broke out. So we would look at it and say, that's interesting. Now that was using minutes, all right? Now I'm using minutes there. What happens if we use ticks instead, like I use ticks? So what would happen if we use ticks? Made $264 with ticks. Had 4 transactions though. All right. So I mean, this is what the analyzer can do for you. You can go back. You can change it to whatever you got here. You can change anything up in here. You can change the dates, and you can go back and you can test everything to see how it worked out. So on the 3rd, I made 264 with ticks, yet I lost the 200 with the minutes. So it's interesting. Let's see. Let's look at the chart. Let's just go look and see why the ticks were different. All right. So all right. This is what happened with ticks. All right. We missed on that one. We missed on that one, but then we caught the next 2, and that's when we look at our trades. We missed on one, down 144. We only missed $4, down 148. Then we caught the next 2, and we finally stopped at over the 200. All right. So that's what that shows us right there. What happened on the 3rd? That the minute we got shut off on the minute, but on the ticks we made it. So just you could run a strategy with ticks and run a strategy with minutes at the same day, which is what I did today. So here again, this was the 6th. This is considered today. Well, let's see what we do. All right, this is what ticks did today. All right, this is what ticks did today with on the open strategy. And if we went back to minutes, go to minutes and see what the strategy did with a minute today. All right, and there's what it did with the minute today. So just once you create a strategy, all right, you can go test it. Now here, this might be interesting. If we went up to default and said backtest, all right, I'm going to backtest this default on all of my instruments here. All right, and this is what would have happened had I gone against the rest of my instruments today. Be up $892. That's not a bad strategy. But the EMD pulled in $416. That was one transaction. The NQ pulled in 206, which we saw. All right, another transaction. 6C pulled in 131 on a single transaction. The ES pulled in 108. I mean, this is what you can do with, once you learn how to use this strategy analyzer, you can analyze all these. You can put it against each instrument. Now this actually happens to be an NQ strategy, but it really isn't an NQ strategy so much as it is a zone. When we break the zone, and it's between the hours of, now remember, this is only between the minutes of 9:31 and 9:42. That's when this happened. We didn't even let it run the day. It's just, this is what happened between those 11 minutes. So 100%, 100%, 100% return on all these different instruments with this strategy. All right, so that's the webinar strategy. That was with the 1 minute. All right, so that might be something to look at, especially this EMD. We go over here and look at the EMD chart. Well, look at that. See, EMD is famous for being just slow and steady, and that's what the EMD is, $10 a tick. And of course, we got 420 ticks in there, so we got 42 ticks. That's $420 right there on the EMD. But we, of course, are playing the NQ with this one. Does that turn anybody on?
What is EMD? I'm not familiar with the symbol.
Oh, EMD. This is the 400 mid cap.
Ah, okay.
The 400 mid cap.
Okay.
So it's just a slow and steady. Not a lot of volume out here, but you can make money on it. Mm-hmm. Some people just trade the EMD.
Okay.
But this is what the strategy analyzer can do for us.
So your original thought, so let's say you have this strategy set up. How do you go back and edit it now?
Oh, okay. Go back and edit it. Now, in fact, we have to add something to this, because one of the things, somebody mentioned that they want it in case the stop, rather than go all the way back to the stop, if it went back and hit the midline of the ADX. If the strategy went back and hit the midline of the ADX, we want to get out. All right, so let's go to Webinar NQ Open. We just go down there and click on that, and it opens it up, ready to go. All right, and we come through. This is the information we put in. This is, of course, is the strategy to go long. This is a strategy to go short. All right, now we know that works. Now, but what happens if, for example, we got in but it turned on us and started going in the opposite direction? We want to get out if it hits the midline of the ADX. Okay, we don't want to take the full brunt of the 28 ticks. If it hits the midline of the ADX, that means it's gone in the wrong direction. All right, so with the long, for example, well, here, let's go over to the long. With the long, I'm going to throw on an indicator here that tells me that I've gone long, because I'm going to be over here testing the midline, and I have to know if I'm long or short over here. There's nothing over here. So what I'm going to do is, when I entered the long, I'm also going to tell the program, all right, that I'm going to set a user variable 0. I'm just going to set it equal to 1. All right, that means I've gone long. Just telling the program variable 0, if it's a 1, I've gone long. All right, and I'm going to do the same thing on the short. If it's a short, I'm not going to use variable 0, of course. I'm going to use another variable. I'm going to use variable 1. I'm going to set that to 1. That means I've gone short. Now, so variable 1 or variable 0 is going to be on. They aren't both going to be on at the same time. So over here, I've set these variables to 1. I'm going to come over here to set 3, and I'm going to say, well, all right, if I'm over here, I'm going to check that variable 0. If variable 0 is equal to, and if you remember back in the user-defined thing, my input 0, remember the default was 1. Well, if that's set to 1, that's what this is telling me. Variable 0 equals that default that we set. If you remember back in the beginning, my input 0 was actually set to 1. So if that variable 0 is equal to 1, that means I've gone long. And now, every time it comes through here, I want to check and see if my price, I want to check and see if my close has crossed below, because going long, you're going up, of course. So if I cross below that 80x, that right there, at 80x VMA, if I cross below that, that means I've gone in the opposite direction. Okay, that's in here. I want to show that also. I'm going to show that. All right, if I cross below that, after going long, we've turned and we're going backwards. So I want to exit my long right there. I want to exit my long, and once I get out of the long, then again I want to turn. I want to turn off that variable 0 so as to not confuse it. Set it back to 0 because I'm no longer long. Boom. And that's, in programming, that's just setting a switch to tell you what you've done somewhere else in the program. You set a switch when you do something, and then you can test that switch somewhere else in the program and do something with it, and then turn it back off. So that right there is how to get out of this. Once I cross below that 80x, I've gone long, but I cross below. This says get out of it and set it back to 0. All right, and that's what I do on the long. So of course you don't want that on the long. You want to also do it on the short. In the short, we called not variable 0, but we called variable 1. If variable 1 is equal now to my if that's a 1, I want to do the same thing with that. Now this time you're not crossing below. You went short. Now if you come back up, if the close now crosses above your 80x, you've gone in the opposite direction. You have to picture this on the chart. And then if that happens, then I want to exit my short position. I want to exit my short position. Okay. And then, of course, I want to set that variable 0 or variable 1 back to 0. There it is. Now what we've just added is we've added that ability program, and if it turns around on us, we can then use those exits to get out without taking the full shot. Somebody asked about that before. Now we're not going to see it on today's unless I can let's see here, because they were all positive today. So let's take this daily loss. Let's take this up. Let's make it a 380, so we can get some more some more trades. I'm gonna make that a 380, and let's run that and see if we can get more trades. Okay, here's an example right here. There it is. When we ran the minute, it came down and it hit this 80x and it got us out right there. That's where it got us out, because we were going long, but this got us out, made us, and before taking the full shot short.
Now that variable business, at least to me, Stephen, is so confusing. Can you explain it one more time? I just don't follow that at all.
Okay. When quite often in programming, you have to tell yourself, when you're in another part of the program, you have to tell yourself, the programmer, what you did back in the beginning or somewhere else in the program.
Right.
It's just a programming switch. Programmers use it all the time. All right. If I set a switch, it tells me that I've gone long because I'm over here in the back end of the program. Well, am I long or am I short on this program? The program doesn't know unless it's got something that it can test to find out if you're long or short. And that's all that variable is. It's just a switch that I set. Once I went long, here, let me bring it up.
You have to use that variable to do this, or you don't?
Well, there's no other. I mean, I could do it. I could create another variable in here, but I don't want to. This is only it's a switch variable, and it's going to be 1 or 0.
Mm-hmm.
That's and this program has got 10 variables that you can work with,
Mm-hmm.
switches like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either going to be on or off. That's all. That's all this variable does. When I went long, I said variable 0 to, and I got 10 variables, and I just picked variable 0. These are this. I can put anything in this variable. I could put a stop in here. I could I could put I got all these different variables to use. So I just use variable 0 and I turn it to a 1. I make it a 1 because later on, somewhere else in the program, I can test to see, am I long? See what happens is when the program is written, it goes through each and every one of these steps every single time.
Mm-hmm.
When you tick, the program goes through all of these every time. And this tick is telling me I've gone long. This one over here, I set it to say, yep, I wish it said long. Okay, long is equal to 1.
Right.
Okay? Because over here it says, is long equal to 1? Yes. Well, then I need to know is if the price has gone against me, if it's gone and turned, and if it's going long, I'm expecting for it to go up. But if the price has gone down, now if I've crossed the ADX, which is what this is, have I crossed the ADX? Yeah, this price has gone in the wrong direction. I'm expecting it to go up, but it's going down. So this actually gets me out at this level here rather than taking a loss down here.
Okay.
Get me out here. And that's, someone asked about that. Isn't like I actually use the Bollinger Band when I do that rather than the ADX, because the Bollinger Band follows, your 21-day moving average Bollinger Band follows that as well. So if I hit the midline on the Bollinger Band, my price is going in the wrong direction. And that's programming wise. You want to know, well, where is my price? Where is it gone? And all you've got conditions to look at. In this case, we said, is the ADX equal, if I crossed over the ADX, yes, well, get me out. I don't want to take the full loss down here. I crossed over the ADX. This thing's going in the wrong direction. And of course, the short is just the opposite. I had to use a different variable. I can't use the same variable because variable 0 means long, variable 1 means short. So now I'm testing the short to see, now in just the opposite, I've gone short, but have I crossed over this band? If I've gone down here and crossed over, I've gone short down here. Actually, this is where you would see the short. We're short, but we've crossed over this band that would stop me over here. This would be my stop rather than the full 28 ticks.
Okay.
I would exit out of that short because I'm going in the wrong direction from where I'm expecting to be program wise. Sometimes you just have to picture what's going on here to see this. So this actually is exit to short. Get out of it because I'm going in the wrong direction. All right. So this is actually a bit complex. You don't usually see these. You wouldn't usually put this into your first programs. Mm-hmm. How am I going to do that?
But if you're using multiple indicators, that's when you have to use the variables. In other words,
well, it's when you're doing very well. If you're going to do something different on a long than you are in a short, you have to know whether you're long or short when you're testing it.
Okay.
And that's what I use the variable for. The variable just tells me I'm either long or I'm short.
Okay.
That's it. I'm either on a long or I'm on a short. So that's what I use the switches for. It's a programming thing.
Well, it also seems like the strategy analyzer put that in there on its own. You didn't enter it when you first create the strategy.
Right. No, that gives you all these variables because you don't know what's going on. You have to set a switch. What am I doing here at this point? Because here again, the every tick comes through every single one of these instructions. All right. But so when you're over here, you don't know how you got here. You're just over here. You see, if you looked at the code, for those of you can read code, this is what the code looks like. So, it's just, how's this thing going to work? We just put in parameters. Luckily, we don't have to know code. So let's see here. We're over here. All right. So that's what these parameters, they get converted to all this code, which is C++ for your people, whatever they're running. All of these that we put in here are actually right in here. Your condition sets and things like that. But rather than write the code, we just write the parameters. It's a lot simpler to do that.
I mean, essentially, this strategy analyzer creates the code. It's an auto code creator.
Right, exactly. But this is the actual program over here. If you need to go in and do something that the strategy analyzer can't do, you can actually go into the code and do it yourself.
Okay.
So that's. I'm not sure did that straighten anything out or?
Yeah, no, that helps. So here's a question. Don't do this because it might take a very, very long amount of time. But in your experience, if you've ever done it, if you wanted to backtest this strategy, say, for 2 years, how long would it take the strategy analyzer to do that? Is it very long or is it pretty quick?
No, it's pretty quick. Well, actually, I back tested it while we were sitting there for days. It just. Now it all depends on whether you got the data or not. All right.
Right.
If you've got the data, then it's going to go through it. The first time you load down the data is when it's going to take time. All right. So when you say back test this for, well, here's 6 months. So you put that in there, and boom, there's my 6 months. Okay, but that's my machine though.
But that doesn't look like 6 months worth of trades, right?
No, it isn't. It's only 3 trades because on January 1st or January 2nd, I got my $200.
Oh, I see
so
what you're saying. Okay.
It was only 3 trades.
Right.
So I mean, we could test this against any date. We could go, how about January 10th? What happened on January 10th?
Now, are you saying you had to physically download the data from those days?
Well, yeah, no, they are. See, this is the 10th, right there. I mean, it just did while we're here. While you're looking at it, it just downloaded the data.
Okay. So you don't have to pre-download the data, is what I'm asking.
No. No, in fact, this actually had to go back to 12. No, it had to go back to 318 as well. 618 and 318 to go get the data. We're on 918 right now. Mm-hmm. So I downloaded 618 and 318 as well. Because that's what it went back and actually used that data, because 918 doesn't go back that to there. So
okay, so the fact that you're using such a small daily total and daily loss in this particular case is limiting your backtest results because it's ending really quickly.
Right. Well, it ends as soon as it gets to my 180 or above 180. It stops.
Right. Now, someone was asking, let me read this question to you and see if it makes sense, Stephen, because he's trying to understand this variable thing also.
Yep.
Is the instruction the set X and the result of that instruction show in the second panel using your naming instruction, in this case, variable 0 or 1? Is that an accurate understanding? I'm not sure I'm getting this question.
Okay. Well, what happens is, this right here is just what has been given to us. Set user defined variable, but the variables are given to you by the program.
Right.
Variable 0 through variable 9. The program actually has those variables in it, and I'm just using those variables. Now, anything else that I put in, for example, in the beginning, like if we go back here, these right here, I put these in. And then when I want to use those variables in the program, I refer to them over here. In an instruction, I can go over and, for example, like here, next step, this right here. Remember, we put in profit and stop. Well, there's the profit target. I made it ticks, and this is the variable I put in there. All right, the word profit.
Right.
All right, as well as the stop loss. The stop. Well, all right. What do we do here? This is stop loss. It was ticks, and then the actual stop is called my user variable that I put in. Stop.
Right. I guess that's why it's confusing. Why do you even need that variable 0 and 1 if you've created variables that are sort of taking you long or taking you short without you understand what I'm asking?
Yes, but now here's the problem. We wanted to add something to it that wasn't a profit. We wanted to add a stop. We wanted to add a program stop. All right, that's what we had. We wanted to add a program stop, that ADX.
Right, another test.
Right. We wanted to add another test, but you can't, of course, do a stop until you've actually got a long or a short. There's no, you don't test it until you actually entered into a long or a short. So you have to know that you've entered into a long or a short to execute this other part to check this ADX.
Right.
Have we crossed over the ADX? Because that's a program stop that we put in. That doesn't have to be an ADX. It could have been a Bollinger Band. It could have been anything. Did we cross over the Bollinger Band? Like we said, we're going long, but all of a sudden we crossed through the middle Bollinger Band. Well, that's like a short. Well, I'm going to use that as a stop instead. If I've told the program to go long, but it's somehow turned and gone in the opposite direction, I want to know that. So that's a program stop. So that's and so that program stop gets handled. It doesn't get handled in going long or going short. It gets handled over here by itself. It gets handled in this condition set or this condition. If we had another program stop, we would go to, but it had nothing to do with this. We would come over here to 5 and 6, put in some more program stops. So
Okay.
the only thing to use this. If I use this, let me see, what would happen if I didn't have the variable here? It would try to exit along if I didn't have the variable there, it would try to exit along when I'm not even in a long. So it would execute it. So what I'm saying here is I have to know that I'm in a long before I can exit a long.
Okay.
Because that'll always give you trouble with you're trying to kill something that you aren't in.
Okay, so here's what a couple of people are asking. Can you either remove the profit and loss and test a
Sure.
longer period of time so they could just see how long it takes if it's not that long? In other words,
Sure.
let's say you want to test 2 months on this particular strategy. How they want to know how long it takes.
Oh, all right. Here, let's just go back to. Well, here, let's make this 18,000.
Okay.
18,000, 1,800. Well, let's. Oh, no, I've got a problem here because remember that default I put in there,
Right.
100 max. Well, let's just run this and see what we get. Well, it's still. All right, here. Let's just go back here. Let's go to webinar. Let's pull that out of there, and let's not test. Let's just take that out of there.
Okay.
Let's take out the daily totals. And here's how you would take it out. I just come over here and I just delete it. All right. And then click on that one. It comes over, say okay, and then just delete that. So now I've taken out the daily totals and daily loss. All right. Let's do the same thing over here. I'm just going to delete it. All right. Delete that one out. And then delete that one out. Now I've taken out the daily totals and daily loss. And now I just go next, next, next. All right. And now I don't have a total early with. Now let's just run it. Let's go back and now here, let's go to NQ. And there's 7/19. There's a month. Let's just run that. Boom, $470.
So is it always that fast, even for a year?
No, but my machine is that fast.
Okay. Okay. No, I know what you're running. Are you using the new laptop I know about?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm using an 8th generation laptop
Okay.
here.
So Steven's using an i7 H processor, the newest ones,
It's,
right?
yeah, yeah, it's a eighth generation,
Yep.
right?
Yep. It's a
But
fast machine.
what we usually do here is, all right. So there's that. Now, and this is why you use the strategy analyzer, because you can go to this graph and it shows you what you are doing each day. Now that I went back to what August? No, July 3rd, and this is what the graph looks like using just strictly this open. Now, the other side of the coin. Remember, we're only in here between 9:31 and 9:42. We're only in here for like 11 minutes a day. All right, and this is you've made in this case was this $1,223, 58 transactions, because we're only in here for 11 minutes a day.
Right.
Bro, let's go back here. We can actually go back and we can test this. Let's go back for 2 months. Let's go back June 5th. Let's run that and see what we get. $2,200, 103 transactions, and this is what the graph looks like. All right, when we first got in, it came off, and then it's been up since June. What was that? June 11th. It's just been a climb, 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 climb. Now this is the open. All right, for 11 minutes. All right, running this strategy. This is what it would do since the month of June. Let's go back to let's go back to January.
And then
right.
don't forget to explain optimize.
Okay.
That's really great, a real important feature.
Right, now here's what the thing has done since January. This is our open. Now this is by the minute. Okay, this is again only 11 minutes a day. This went down 2%, and let's, rather than use percent, let's actually use currency. This went down to almost $4,000, and it's been working its way back up. So what I would do here, I would go in here and say, okay, why are we going down? You know, what is there something that we're missing? We could go back and actually look at the charts to find out why we took this dive down here. And this is what you do with the now. Let's say that the all right, we've taken out the daily loss, so but these are still involved here. So we could go back and optimize this. And let's start from 20s. Let's start from 20 and go to 42, and let's do it by 2, increment of 2. Now we can go 14, and then we can go 14 and 21. Let's do 21 there, and that's going to be an increment of 7. I either want 14 or 21. The top is going to be like 18 to 28. Let's go by 2, and this is going to take just a little while. There's 52 seconds. Okay, this is actually 45 seconds. This is actually now running every combination of all those numbers since January. All right, and this is what you can do with a strategy analyzer. You can go back and you can test. And I'm running. I got 18 seconds left, 17, 16 seconds, and it's running all these different tests to find out what is the best. What's the most optimum? What would be the most optimum number that we would use if we were to do that? And 1 second. Ta-da! All right, $674. We seem to need a little something here. All right, if we go to the optimizer.
Well, you put in that ADM, the ADX crossover, which we don't really use because our testing showed it didn't work that great.
Oh, okay. All right. But these are the numbers, for example, 38.21, the stop of 22. Okay. Well, now it likes 21, but it was a 38 profit and 22 stop. All right. Now, this was 40 and 22. And this is 40 and 18. So that's the test since January. So that's 469 transactions. All right, there's what you would do. This is a beginning part. You would go figure out. Now sit there and say, okay, so this is what it does as it is in its current condition.
It's per
What do we got?
contract also, is that correct? Per contract?
Yes.
One contract?
One contract. That's all this is one contract. What do we got to change to make this a much better number? You would start testing some conditions, especially you would look at look at this time in January 20th, the market down to February 5th, the market just took a dive then using this technique. But here again, this is only 11 minutes per day. All right. But now, what would it be? Now, here's the other. Now, when we're looking at this is a cumulative profit. Here's the distribution. I want cumulative profit. I want distribution net profit. There, okay. This is what I'm looking for. All right. Maybe now this is a daily profit. Cumulative profit, and what do I want here? I want the distribution between. Oh, wow, all right. We're only got 11 minutes here, so this isn't all right. Evidently, we could forget 10 o'clock. We only want 9 o'clock. Let's go to entry time.
Well,
entry
how
time.
would you change the strategy? How hard is it to change the strategy to make it to trade between 9:30 and 10? Say
9:30 and 10. Well, in this case, we could just actually go in there and say, okay, here, come back over to the strategy and say, make that 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Just make it 10 rather than 9:42. I got 11 minutes in here.
Just by manually typing it?
Yeah, well, I'd go in here and I'd say, okay, change this to 10:42 or something else.
So you have to actually edit and then recompile the strategy.
Yeah, and then you just recompile the strategy. You say, okay, and you say next, then you're done. Okay. And then, boom, it's ready to go. That's how easy it is to change the time. But so what? That's an open strategy. All right. So and that's what we should be looking at is, that's strictly for an open. But like you say, we've got more studying to do to find out to try to make that goal. See, that's an automated strategy. Period. You walk away. You just turn it on and walk away. Not yet. Because you went through $32,000 and you had loss of $31,000 to get to this point. So we need a little more work on that to make that strategy, work. There's got to be more to it. As far as working every day, I mean, this thing has been working every day since June, no problem. For example, if we came over here to June. Just throw that in there and make it work. There are no optimizations. Okay, I don't want to optimize. I want to backtest. Okay. All right. I just want to backtest this. All right. Backtest. Well, here, NQ. Backtest. NQ for June, $2,500. That's what the open has done. 100 transactions, $2,500. So that's what this has done since June 6th. All right, for the 11 minutes that we're in the market since June 6th, and it's August 6th. I mean, we could go look at that graph. That graph. Don't want a distribution. I want a cumulative profit. There's what it's done since June 6th. So. That's what the open has done.
What would you have to do if you wanted to limit it to one trade between the times that you choose to test?
Single trade? Well, all right. What I would do is I would just trade it once. I'd throw a switch on, and I'd never turn the switch off. Once we did the long or the short, you just leave the switch on. It never does another one. That's that switch that we turned on. We turn it off when we're at the max. You don't turn the switch off, and it won't execute again.
Okay.
That's a simple way right off the bat. One thing we should have done here in the webinar open is that we should have, all right, we should have checked the switch to make sure that it wasn't already on. Well, see, the strategy analyzer actually takes care of that. You don't go through this again. If you're already long, it doesn't go, do another long, Strategy analyzer actually takes care of that. But I could have come in here and says, that my variable 1 switch or my variable 0 switch has got to be less than, follow this now, my input 0. Now this says I can't already be long. Because if I was long, what happens to variable 0? It gets turned on, right? A 1. Mm-hmm. What does this instruction mean that I just put in there? Variable 0 is less than my input 0. Remember my input 0 back here was initialized to a 1. So my input 0 is always 1. All right, so when I come over here, I'm saying my variable 0 has to be less than 1. So that has to be a 0 to enter a long position. Otherwise this won't work. Does that make sense?
I think so. I'm still confused about the variables, but that's okay. I have to fool around with it.
Well, it's just a switch. My switch is either on or off.
Okay.
All right. Once I enter long, the switch is on.
What about calculating commissions?
Commissions are actually already taken out of all these numbers. I already got commissions in all these numbers that we're looking at here. Chart, summary, it goes summary. I already got commissions in here. See, there's $400 in commissions here.
So how did that get added in? How was that done? I guess that's what the person was asking me.
All right. To get a commission in there, what you do is you come over here to tools. All right. And you come over to options. And in your simulator, there's your commission, and you actually set your commissions right here.
Okay.
What for futures, for options, whatever.
So that's actually done outside of the strategy analyzer.
Yeah, no, you actually do that inside of NT.
Right.
So when you're doing all your calculations and everything, your commissions are already in your work. So whenever you do anything, you come over here and do commissions over here on your options, on tools, on the simulator. All right, so that would be tools, options, and then simulator. Set your commissions. Now, what you have to do here, this is replay, simulator, kinetic, IQ feed. This is $2 because the way the simulator works, if you've got to buy, it's $2. If you've got to sell, it's $2. All right, that's if your commission is 0 for a round turn, $4 for a round turn. All right, you put in 2 over here because it actually calculates each one separately. Okay. So you get your $4 for a round turn. Right? That's what these are over here. This over here, this is $4 for a round turn. Okay. At 100 contracts, and it's $4 a contract turn, both to buy and sell. Something that you have to watch out for.
Okay. Are we leaving anything out? So you covered optimizing, you covered back testing. Questions, anyone?
Yeah. Yeah, if somebody wanted a real simple strategy of a moving average or something like that. Remember, somebody also wanted to make sure they were above EMA 50. Right. Remember? You could actually go in here into this webinar, into the one that we got, and we could say in here, we don't want to go long unless we're above the EMA 50. All right, so if the close is greater than the indicator, EMA, where's EMA? All right, we want EMA. Now it gives you 14, but if you had a parm, you'd just put that parm in here instead. But if I just put in 50 right here, all right, this would, and if I wanted to plot it on the chart, true, this wouldn't take a long unless the close was greater than an EMA 50, along with breaking through the zone. It's got to break through the zone. Time's got to be between 31 and 42, and we got to be above the EMA 50 before we take the long. That's what that says.
Okay, so question. Go back to the very, very beginning of
Okay.
your editing.
Over here?
So when you say a
Yeah.
parm, you could have put EMA 50 in there.
Yep, I could have put an EMA parm in here.
Okay.
All right, and if I knew I was always going to use 50, I would make the default 50.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So now over here, rather than put in that actual 50, I could come in here and say EMA parm in the instruction.
Okay.
Now it says the same thing.
Okay.
But now the advantage of this is you might say, well, let's try an EMA 20 and see what happens. Because when you go to run this, you can easily change that to a parm. Usually now you go back here. Now we have an EMA parm. You can now say, well, let's try a 20 on that instead and see what we get. You know, or we could go 50. We could go 100. We could go HMA. You know, because what happens if you look at the chart, you're going to find out that we're above an EMA 50. Well, actually, the chart's not there. I mean, it's not on the chart, but we're above an EMA 50 when you look at it. That's right. For us to be above the zone, we're most likely going to be above the 50 anyway.
So if you go back to those parms, can you avoid having to deal with the switches if you just create parameters?
Okay, now
You understand what I'm asking?
Yes, I do. Now, the reason why we have to create a variable the way we did is because something has happened. We've done something in here, and until it's actually done, you don't know it. Until we've gone long, we don't know we've gone long.
Okay, so just saying go long isn't enough.
Well, no, right, no. I mean, how do we know over here that we've gone long? We don't. And you can't put it over here because this actually tells me I've gone long. What kind of variable would you have back here to tell you you've gone long? I mean, I could. Well, here, I could probably, let's see, right. Let me see. Let's just say I've gone long. Here, let's put a long over here, but now I would probably well, see, you set log a message alert. How do you get that fact that you've gone long over there? You got to set that long switch to 1. All right. That would be, can I see, I can't get at that switch.
Okay.
Is what the problem is. All right, I can't see down here. You're only given, it's different up here. Up here, you're given all this. Down here, where you're actually working with conditions, you're only given this much. You're given a drawing. You can do a drawing if you've done something. You got order management, exit short, limit. Or you can do one of these in here. So that's why I set user variable. So I set user variable, but now then you're given the variable that you can set. I can't say, well, I want to set long to 1,
Right.
I can't put in the word, can't set long to 1.
Okay. Someone was asking about commissions again. So to be clear, the net profit loss number, does that include commissions? Net profit
only
loss.
only if you put it in there. When you do if you don't put commissions over there, it's just going to be zero. Then this number is going to be actually $400 higher. That's going to say 29.85
So
because you didn't put commissions in.
So in other words, what you're saying is you must enter all your trade costs in externally outside of the strategy analyzer in the simulator.
If you want your commissions calculated for you, yes.
Okay.
Right. I mean, if you're just using the simulator, you're not concerned with commissions. You don't need to put commissions in.
Okay.
If you're just looking at the number, what worked best here, you know?
Okay.
Because I've got like, here's a Bollinger. I'm not sure what. I think this is a cross above Bollinger. If the close, it gives the super trend. I use the Bollinger to do something. I'm not sure what I do. All right, no, that's just a simple. If the close for Bollinger is less than exit long. Oh, this is just a long. All right, this is just long. I only did longs on here. You know, if I said, all right, finish that. You can write several strategies, and then you can just kind of go back test them. And you come out here, well, test the Bollinger. All right, what is 1 minute? Let's go just strictly today. I'm not sure what would happen here. August, let's go August 5th to August. Bollinger, what happened? I lost $441. So I guess I don't want that one. Whatever that one does.
Is there a way to set an alert so, like, if it goes long or short, it'll make an alert?
Yeah, there was back in there. I saw that there was one down in there. Let's see. You go down here. There was play a sound.
Okay.
Or log a message. There's an alert. Yeah. No, you can do, when you go long, you can do something there. And you play a sound, and it probably wants the name of the sound. All right. What do you want? You know? And that's, yeah. This is something down here because we're coding up our own stop. This is actually an advanced. This is pretty advanced for this. I mean, to start off with, this is actually advanced. If you understand this, it's great, but it's more of an advanced programming technique for this. I mean, normally you wouldn't do this, except we are writing our own stops, so we are doing it.
So the importance of using the sets is maybe just go over that one more time. Why do you change sets?
Well, these are your conditions. You got to meet all these conditions before you can do whatever you want down here.
Okay. So each time you have a new condition, you create a new set.
Well, if it's not included in any of these, you know, if for some reason, if for example, you're doing something completely different that has nothing to do with this to go long, yeah, you just go over and create another set of conditions. But quite often, I want to make sure that the EMA is greater, and then I want to make sure that that the price is greater than a SMA 21. I mean, you can put all sorts of conditions in here, greater than an SMA 21. Boom, and you just keep on going. Number, condition, right, before it happens.
Right. So I guess my question is, why do I then go to set 3 or set 2?
Well, set 3 and set 2. Now this is for a long. Set 2 is for a short.
That's okay. So different directions, different sets.
Yeah, different directions. Now set 3. Let's say you had a whole bunch of other conditions you could go long on. Had nothing to do with this first set of conditions. You might have other conditions that you say, well, go long on these conditions. That's what you could use there.
So it's more organizational.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. You can have several reasons why you want to go long. They may be related or they may not, or they may be different conditions. I might say, hey, but forget all of this. If I cross over the 21, go long. All right. If the price crosses over the HMA 80, say. They say if a price crosses over the HMA 80, go long. You know, I mean, that HMA 80 has nothing to do with these conditions up here at all. It isn't part of these conditions. It's just by itself. If the close crosses over, well, no, that's not a crossover. It's equal, so that's no good. If the close crosses above HMA 80, go long. So, I mean, this is all the analyzer is you set all the conditions you want. In fact, when you look at a chart, you can say, Jesus, if this price is greater than this price is greater than this, if I do that and my price is going in a trend direction, let's say the close of one back, the close of one back is less than the close of the current bar. All right, so this says the close of one bar back is less than the close of my current bar, go long, as well as crossing above 80.
Okay.
And say, well, now again, well, hey, if the close of 2 bars back is less than the close of 1 bar back, let me see, close of 1 bar back, all right, I now have to have a rising trend here. I have to have bar 1 has got to be, the next bar's got to be higher, the next bar's got to be higher. I mean, that's what this would do for you right there. That would be just taking a look at the price bars and see if the close is greater than that, greater than that, greater than that. Or in this case, I wrote it backwards. If it's less than that, less than that, less than that.
Okay.
But does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
The close 2 bar backs is less than the close 1 bar back, which is less than the close, well, the current close. The zero means current bar.
If you wanted to, could you squeeze it all into one set, the same direction? Have, for 4 different conditions in set 1 that are all going long?
Sure.
Rather than using sets, if you wanted to.
Well, no. See, what it is if this condition happens, I don't care what's happening over there. If this condition happens, this is where you got this condition happening, then I definitely want to go along.
Okay, so
I don't
it's
care.
independent. It's
I don't care
independent.
what's happening over here.
It's independent of the other conditions. So when it's in the same set, they're all interrelated. When it's in a separate set, it's independent of the previous set.
Right. Yes. Exactly. This is correct. Yes.
Okay.
Correct. So you could have several reasons why you want to go long, each one independent of each
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Does that
makes
make
more
sense?
sense? Yep.
Okay. That's what those sets are for. This set 3 and 4 is we wanted to do our own close, but we had to know whether we were long or short when we got there. We had to know if this one. We wrote a close for a long. We wrote a close in case it was a short.
Okay.
That's what 3 and 4 is. The rest of these is just keep going. This set's completely independent from this set. If they were all together, we could just take those instructions and put them right in here too.
Right. Okay.
So people should just try this. It's real easy
Just
to work
gotta
with.
fool around with it now.
Yes. All right. Because and then if you just keep going next, it takes you to the next. And then when you hit it again and again, all right, you've got to compile. Once you compile the program, you can come over here and right button click. And it says, I want to back test against the NQ. Maybe I want to back test against the CL. I come up here and back test against the CL with these parameters.
Right. I think the key, Stephen, is maybe there's one more thing we should do before we go. So just to summarize, the key, what makes this unique, it doesn't replace our software. What it gives you the ability to do is to backtest and to optimize. Those are the absolute key things that the strategy analyzer allows you to do. Backtest and optimize. The other thing, just briefly, so let's say you're all done, and how do you actually call it up so that you can see it work?
Oh, okay. Well, now, right there, that's how you do it. I just come over here and I say, right-click on this. I'm saying backtest. Well, there it is. Then I just pick out the program I want to backtest. like the webinar, that's what we wrote. And then I just run it, and it just shows us exactly what we did, what we're doing. So this is now running the backtest NQ 918 against what I can't remember. Well, we were against 9 NQ. I don't know exactly what we were, how many, I don't know what my date was. My dates might have been, let's see what it was. Backtest. All right. I was backtesting that program against by minute. Oh, I backtested all the way to January.
Okay.
Ha! 26,000. Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, we were just throwing random reasons in there, so.
Right, exactly. Well, no, that's true. Now, we probably got some real weird stuff in here. Now, you can actually go look at it. You can actually go look at what happened since January 1. And now, this is where I got the idea. Well, once I'm up $1,000, I'm done. You know, this actually happened on the 3rd. You were up $1,200. I mean, this is what this looks like. Now, the other thing this shows us how many dollars we stepped back, how high we are, and how many dollars we stepped back to get this 144. We came backwards $329 to get that, to get a minus 144. We were up $185. I mean, there's all this data is in here too.
Okay.
All right, so it's something that you're going to want to look at and analyze the data. So chart. No, I don't really want to see the chart, but it wants to show it to me.
Now, if you look at your distribution by time, it'll make a lot more sense because you have a lot more time tested.
Right. So this is giving me a chart since. So now we go. There's your. See, we were up. Geez, in January here by the 17th with this technique, we were up over $7,000 by the 17th of January.
Right.
So it'd be interesting to find out what technique that moved us up there.
Right.
What transactions did we to get here to get up there? What did we do? So that's where these trades actually came in, all these trades. So we were long. Now I'm just wondering if it was that HMA that we just put in there,
Right. Just for everybody, MAA means MFE, ETD.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Okay. I forget myself.
I'd have to go look it up to find out what they meant. See, we were at 140 and we came back 185. This right here is how much we stepped back. This is our cost over here. We stepped back $329 to get to this 144. We were up 185. And then all of a sudden it took a dive, and my stop, I don't have a stop in here to stop this. So it actually stopped, came back until it hit that 28 stop. This is actually the 28 stop that we put in there. This thing was up 185 before it turned around.
Okay.
And
so MAE means max adverse excursion. MFE is max favorable excursion.
Oh, all right.
There's always someone out there who knows something. It's great.
Good.
And then,
but you see all these.
I'm sure someone will say what ETD means in a minute.
But see, when you look at these, we could just click on that and look at all these. We came back. All of these. See, somewhere along the line, if we were, this actually reduced over $349 to get all this. We were up $205, and we were one tick away from stopping, and it turned and went back. The 210 should have been where we were. I mean, here's 210. We were right at the 42 mark, but we must have been there just very shortly. We didn't get it. We didn't get executed. All right, because we were up 200. We were at the 41 mark, and we went backwards to all this. See, there's a lot of data here.
Right.
There's a lot of data here, but that's back in. We don't want you. You have to be careful because whenever you start this, it's always going to start you out at January 1st. And you want to be able to move up here to the month that you're concerned with back here.
ETD means end trade drawdown.
Oh, okay. End trade drawdown. There you go. We're up $75 on that one. We went back $219 to lose 144 to get back to our. But see now, if we had in there though the midline, we wouldn't have dropped all that back. If we went and looked at that, must be the midline's not on that one or something, or we changed it or something. That ADX.
Right.
So if I looked at that chart,
Right.
all right. What? There's a buy or what is that? That where we got in? Just 1 minute. This must have been that 80 hull. Going over the 80 hull we bought because
Right.
I don't see any reason why we would buy down here. But the 80 hull, we must be greater than so we bought, so that's, I didn't put the hull on here, so,
Right. Okay. Hey,
but I mean, if anybody looks at a chart, they can look at a chart and say, what do I see in this chart? Well, geez, if I'm always below that, that happens to be the U11, I want to stay in until, I come up, say, the midpoint or something. That's just, as you look at a chart, you can see things that you would say, geez, we crossed the U11, there's across the zone. Well, that's how we come up with the open to begin with. We cross the zone, let's get in. All right. So, I mean, that's just looking at a chart. You might throw an indicator on there and says, every time this crosses over the 21 or crosses through a small Bollinger, so you could actually create a strategy for that. Just like we created. It's simple. Create a strategy. You don't need to go with the signs and all that yet. I mean, we can, the switches, don't leave the switches away, but just a chart itself. You look at a chart and say, what could we do with that?
right. Well, Stephen, that's awesome. I want to thank you very much. I don't see any. Are there any last questions? Did this strategy eliminate the 11-minute window to be in the market? Did we change the time on this one, or we're still at the 11-minute?
No, I'm sure we're still at the 11-minute. I think we left that in. We didn't take the. Well, no. What did we do there? Did we take that out? Let's see. Let's look at it. Did we take out the 11-minute? No, we left it in.
So the one question, Stephen, that a couple of people are asking that we were confused about, how would you actually make it work so it only trades once? What do you have to do?
Oh, well, remember the variable I put back in here?
So what do you?
I would test that variable, for example. If you only want it to trade once, I would add that variable. I would say that variable 0 must be less than, only because this thing it's got a default of 1. What we're saying is you can't do this unless variable 0 is less than my input. Variable 0 must be equal to 0. Okay. And a way of saying that is, since this is already initialized to 1, variable 0 must be less than 1.
So that will limit you to one trade in either direction?
Right.
Or do you have to do
Well,
that
no,
for both directions?
just the long. Just the long. Just the long, right here.
Okay.
Remember, we're using variable 0 for long. Once we set that to 1, this will never execute again. This will never pass muster, because it's a 1.
Then you have to do it again for the short.
Well, yeah, you come over here.
The reverse.
Well, now you're going to say variable 1 must be less than this thing that has been set.
Right. Okay.
All right, because we set variable 1 to 1, so now the short will only execute once.
Okay.
Because this condition will keep it from executing again.
Okay.
Does that make sense? You
I
sure?
think so. Ah,
Only because my input 0 has been set to a value of 1 back in
right,
here. This my input
right.
0 has got a default of
Could
1.
you have set it to 0?
I could have. Yeah, I could, and which would probably make more sense
Uh-huh.
because it's called my
Right,
input
right,
0.
right,
Why they set it to 1 is beyond
right,
me, but
right.
yeah. If I defaulted that to 0, okay, just 1 0. If I defaulted that to 0, then my instructions over here this has got to equal this variable 1 has got to equal my input 1
Hmm.
0 work.
Right.
Does that make sense?
I think so.
Because and then this one over here would have to be the same thing. This would actually have to be equal to that 0 because I initialized that to 0 to begin with. So my input 0 is 0. You know?
Right.
But then we'd have to come over here, and of course, if variable 0 has to be greater, this would then be a greater than, this would be a greater than for this to work, okay? For this to work, saying I've gone long, so variable 0 now has got to be greater than 0, okay? As does variable, as does this one. This would actually have to be greater than 0, all right? Now, because we initialize the switch to be in the off position rather than the on position.
Now, is there any difference? Someone was asking if you want to just trade once a day. That's the same thing, isn't it?
Right. Well, we just put that in there. This is only
It's
one.
just
This is
one
trade.
trade
Right.
per set of
One trade.
conditions.
And then what you might want to do there to make sure that you have the best one trade of the day, you might want to then change your, let's see, back here, rather than make your parm 14, you might want to make this parm over here 30. That's your zone parm. You make that a 30. Now this has to really break out to go. Break out of your zone to go. I don't know if that makes. See, if we change this over here to a zone 30, that it would be it would look a lot different. I mean,
It's wider.
to be a to be a real breakout, we would say make that a 30 here. So to get a real definite breakout here, you gotta break a much bigger zone, say.
Okay.
Just as a that would be that's another you can make that zone any size.
Right.
But whereas a 9 gets broken several times as a 9, 14 is less, 21 is less,
Right.
and 30 is even.
Okay.
Just yeah. Well, you have to look at the data. True.
All right, Stephen, listen, I want to thank you very, very much. I think people can only absorb so much in one session. That was a lot of info.
Well, true. But what if somebody's got an idea? If they want to know how would I do this? How would I do that? I'll just have them send you an email, and we can show them how they would do it.
Okay, that sounds good. So I want to thank you very, very much. And I know you have an appointment. And you have to get cracking. So I'll make a recording of this for everybody. And Stephen, thank you a million times again for all your help.
All right.
Okay,
Now,
everyone.
how do I put this back somehow?
You
Or
don't
do you
have to
just
do anything. I'll change the presenter. You're all good.
okay? Good.
Okay, so thanks again, Stephen. Really appreciate it. So everybody, if you send me an email, if there's something you really want to know, I can forward it to Stephen, and he'll tell us how to do it. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, Stephen, thanks again. I really appreciate it.
All righty. Right
Okay.
down.
Okay, everybody, we're going to get out of here. We've been here a long time, so thanks everybody for coming. Really appreciate it. I'll definitely, we thank Stephen. So that was very educational, and that's one of the things we like to do in the room. So thanks everybody for coming, and I'll make a video of this, and eventually I'll get it out there, and appreciate it. Thanks everybody for coming. So definitely visit us, newstraders.com, JOBB Software, one-click range trade. Okay, folks? So I'll see you all in the trade room tomorrow. Take care, everyone. So long.